Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Charleston, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and where we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we have an interesting episode for you guys. You definitely want to stick around for it, so make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, as all of you guys are fully aware, we produced a live yesterday, right? And that live was basically addressing Nick Wright releasing the final spot of his top 50 players in the last 50 years. And at the end of the list, at the top of the list rather, he had LeBron James ranked number 1. So that's where all of this is really beginning. Now, this morning, I was going through some of the comments from our viewers, and one of them left a very peculiar comment that immediately caught my attention. He said, Shannon Sharpe is on record saying that MJ is the GOAT multiple times when the show first started in 2016. That's what he said. So essentially, it was that comment that really prompted us to really take this thing a step further and really do some research. So what I did was I decided to do some research, because I said in that live, and I'm going to say it again, I don't really believe that Nick Wright and Shannon Sharpe believe half of the stuff that they're saying when it comes to LeBron. I just don't believe it, right? There's a lot of things, there's a lot of events that cause me to think otherwise. I don't really think that these guys are being sincere based on some of the things that they have said. So I started doing my research, and this is what I found. I found a clip of Shannon Sharpe back in 2016 on Undisputed, basically explaining to Skip Bayless then what it would take for LeBron to equal or surpass Michael Jordan. And the question back then was, to give you guys some context, basically the question of that segment, or what they were talking about at that time, was if LeBron won 3 championships in a row. This question was asked in 2016 after he just won the championship against the Golden State Warriors when they blew that 3-1 lead in the finals. So that was the question. If he wins 3 championships in a row, will he pass Michael Jordan? That was the question, and Shannon Sharpe proceeded to answer. But before we play his clip, we want to this video is brought to you by sponsor Aura, who's also the sponsor of the T-Wolves. So check that out, and then we'll come back. Do you know what the fastest growing crime in America is today? It's identity theft. Imagine trying to log into your email only to see that your password has been changed. Then you start getting weird notifications from your bank and credit cards, only to find out that all of your personal and sensitive information has been totally compromised. If you think it can happen to you and your family, just know that in 2020, over 49 million Americans were victims to identity theft, costing them a combined $56 billion. That is why we are excited to partner with Aura, who's the sponsor of this video. Aura is the #1 identity theft and financial fraud protection. Aura monitors the dark web and alerts you if any of your passwords and accounts have been breached. And funny enough, after using Aura, I discovered some of my credentials were floating around in the dark web, and the app showed me exactly when and where the breach happened. In addition, Aura allows you to set spending alerts, and they'll notify you of any suspicious transactions. Aura is 4 times faster than any of its competitors in alerting you if someone is trying to open a credit card or obtain a loan using your name. And remember this, every 14 seconds, someone becomes a victim of identity fraud. Don't let it happen to you. Now click the link in the description and try Aura for free for 2 weeks and see if any of you or your family's personal information has been compromised. Start your free trial at aura.com/dreamerspro. And when you try Aura, by using the link in the description below, also know that you're supporting this channel. Thank you. So here's what Shannon Sharpe had to say back in 2016 when he was asked about it. And he himself said these are the things that LeBron is going to need to do in order to eclipse Michael Jordan. Take a listen to what he had to say here.
Yes. LeBron won 3 straight titles when he passed Jordan. Yes. Because I believe he will win an MVP. I said he would win MVPs. He's already won 1, so he'd have to win the next 2 finals to get to a 3-peat. I believe he will win the finals. Not the finals. I believe he'll win the MVP, a regular season MVP this year. I believe he will be the MVP of the 2 finals. So that would give him 5 regular season MVPs, 5 final MVPs. Also, he'd be in the top 5 in scoring if that were to happen. Reason number 2, and I think goes unnoticed, he broke up the Detroit Pistons. They had gone to 7 straight Eastern Conference Finals. He went on that run, scored 48 points, the last 25. He broke up the Big 3 in Boston, ran it out of town. He broke up Oklahoma City's Big 3 before it could even get started. You remember they had James Harden, Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook all on a team together, and he broke it up. He beat the all-time greatest regular season team in NBA history, 73-9. He beat them, came down from 3-1 to do it. And you keep talking about what Jordan couldn't do, or he wouldn't have let it happen. You are where you are. There's not, like I said, he can win the next 5, and you're not moving him. He's going to end his career with more points than Jordan, more rebounds than Jordan, more assists than Jordan's.
Great. He's a great player.
And I believe, Skip, if he can get one more MVP.
He's better than Michael Jordan. Go ahead and go there.
Can I finish?
Yeah.
He gets one more MVP. He gets 2 more titles. You and I are going to have to revisit this discussion.
Well, that's what I just said it.
We're going to have to because right now, as we sit, no, he's not. But he wins another MVP and 2 more titles. I got to give up all my Air Jordans. Okay. All the pit crews, all the Miros, all the lights. I'm going all bronze.
You're going to force me to revisit 2010, last series included.
So you heard what he had to say back in 2016. So let me ask y'all a question. Since 2016, what has LeBron done? Well, I'll tell you. Since the year 2016, since he beat the Golden State Warriors, LeBron has won a Finals MVP and a championship, and that occurred in the Orlando bubble in the year 2020 when they beat the Miami Heat. And oh, by the way, since we talk about the competition or lack thereof that Michael Jordan faces, what these guys like to talk about, it's funny how no one mentions that LeBron captured his 4th championship against a depleted Miami Heat team, where at one point, what's his name? Tyler, I forgot the guy, the rookie at the time was the one that they were starting. Tyler Hero was the one that they were starting, and nobody said a mumbling word. But they got the courage to talk about, MJ didn't play against any competition. So that's what he said back in 2016. And since then, LeBron has only captured 1 Finals MVP and 1 championship. So the question then becomes, why did he start saying in 2018 that LeBron James was the GOAT? That's the question. I'm gonna ask again. Why did he say in 2018, when LeBron hadn't won another title, why did he start saying that, LeBron James is the GOAT? I'm going to repeat what I said in that live, and I'm going to say it again. I don't believe for 1 second that these guys mean what they're saying when they're talking about this stuff. I don't believe it. I don't believe it for a second. Not even for a second. These guys haven't given a reason, even according to their own standards that they set, to justify them saying that LeBron is the GOAT. Now, to Nick Wright, yesterday in that live, we brought up something that I'm going to bring up in this video here. In that live, he said that in 2011, in the live, we were reacting to what he said. He said in his video, basically, that the performance that LeBron put forth against the Golden State Warriors in 2017 erases what happened in 2011, which I thought was just absolutely preposterous. So let me read what Nick Wright had to say on Twitter back in 2011. He said, on May 27, 2011, in regards to the LBJ versus MJ debate, there is no debate. MJ, greatest player ever. LBJ, not yet in top 10. Could change in a decade, though. Those were Nick Wright's words. Those were his words. So how did all of a sudden in 2016, how did he go from not being in the top 10 or barely being in the top 10? How did he go all the way to number 1? And how did Michael Jordan, if you knew in 2011, was the GOAT, how did Jordan drop from number 1 to number 3? None of this, folks, makes any sense whatsoever. Not even a little bit. These guys are confused. They're confused. This is what happens, ladies and gentlemen, when you try to argue with the wrong people against MJ as the GOAT. You picked the wrong guy. I can understand if you brought Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, or maybe some people will want to bring Bill Russell, whoever it is. That's a little bit more palatable. But when you start bringing LeBron James to the table, you resort to start doing ridiculous things like this. And let me address one final point, because some people seem to be under some type of illusion. Let me address one final point quickly before we end it here. During the live, someone said, but who did MJ face though? Who did he face? I'm going to repeat it for the very last time. Please. This is not my opinion I'm about to give you. This is just the facts. LeBron James in the playoffs is 10-9 versus 50-win teams. Let me say it. I wish I could say it in another language. He is 10-9 in the finals. In the playoffs. Okay, that's the level of competition he has faced. MJ is 20-7. 20-7. I think it's safe to assume that 27 is more than 19. I hope you guys are able to understand that. The rest of the NBA fans seem to grasp that quite easily. They can get this simple arithmetic. You guys, for whatever reason, cannot. That's the first thing. LeBron, let me say it again, is 3-4 in the playoffs against teams that are against 60+ win teams. Jordan is 7-2. So it is clear to see that MJ faced tougher teams. I hope that's not too complicated. But let me tell you what's going to happen at the end of all of this. You know what they're going to say? LeBron is still the GOAT. I rest my case.